Hello and welcome to your real estate journey, expert tips for buyers and sellers. I am Dolly Lopez, your realtor and broker in the state of Florida and Kentucky. In this podcast, as you already know, as we do it every single week, we provide you with advices to make informed and educated decisions in your real estate journey. Today is Thursday, and today I am joined by one of my favorite real estate attorneys, Leslie Perez. Welcome, Leslie. How are you?
Hi, I'm Gray. Always happy to share whatever wisdom we have acquired in all of our years, doing real estate with our community and trying to help them, achieve their dream in buying a home, selling a home, refinancing their property, or building a home. Whatever it is they're doing right now with real estate, we always like to be a part of it, and we're happy to always share our whatever experiences we have accumulated in the years.
Through the years, yes. So today we want to make this video as brief as possible, but we'd like to talk about the do's and don'ts as far as real estate. We're going to focus more on the don'ts because ultimately the do's are the opposite. Um,
Right.
so we want to make sure we continue to, for the sake of time, we're going to focus on the don'ts. What you shouldn't do whenever you are in the process of buying a property. So, what would you say to start, Leslie, as a real estate attorney?
I think a big don't is anything that would affect your credit score. If you are buying using a lender, right? If you're financing a portion of the purchase price of the home, you should be very mindful and should be very aware of how your credit score can be affected by any of your transactions, whether it be buying that vacation you have been, dreaming of, or buying of, something for you to indulge your days, whatever that may be. You need to first consult with your lender and make sure that it would not disqualify you for that loan, or that it would put you in a position where you need to request an extension from the seller, because we need your credit score to get back up where it was when you were pre-qualified. So I think that's a big issue to be mindful, the credit score in all fronts.
Exactly. So, when we talk about credit, it's really easy to damage it by anything to
Mhm.
lower your score. So, you want to make sure you don't open new credit cards, you don't close old credit cards. You want to ensure that you don't use your credit cards as much. You want to maintain doing exactly the same thing unless advised differently by your lender. So you want to make sure your credit, don't co-sign anything.
No.
Don't make sure whenever you go to stores and they ask you to apply for a credit
No.
card to get a discount, make sure you don't do that. At least not during the process of purchasing a property.
You're gonna have time to do that after you close.
Exactly.
Don't, and when we mention credit score, it's a variety of stuff.
Yep.
Like I mentioned, as simple as buying a vacation, or as simple as trying to get all of the furniture for your new to be home in advance, so that when you close you have it already there. That doesn't help you, because that's a new debt you're putting into your credit score that may lower at a position where you don't no longer qualify. And in that respect, we always advise everybody, just enjoy the process. The process of closing is a very complicated process. It's stressful. It demands of you a lot of communication with your lender, your realtor, your attorneys, the sellers, the other side, and then all of the companies that you had to hire to make sure that the property is fit to what you want it to be. So just focus on that. Give it your all of your energy into that process, and you're going to find that it's way less stressful than adding into some additional problems, like messing up with your credit score that you don't need right now. Just enjoy that reward that you made it. You made it to the closing. You were able to buy that home that you wanted, and enjoy it. Take that deep breath and tell to yourself, this was me. This is an accomplishment. I made this happen. So
Exactly. So enjoy the process. And it's very, A real estate transaction, it's a complex transaction, and it comes with a lot of ups and downs, and it's extremely stressful for most of us. But you want to make sure, as Leslie said, enjoy the process. You want to at least be patient how whenever you are during this, whenever you're going through this process.
Don't skip steps, right? Just go
Yeah,
one step at a time. If you are in the qualification process, it's just that. Don't go to the next step of filling, your home with all of the things that make it cute, or already, finding somebody to rent a portion of your property. Just take it one step at a time. Right now, we're trying to qualify for a big loan, and right now your focus should be, nothing can touch my credit score because I'm set, and I need to be set at the closing table.
and I will give you an example, something that happened to me. I had a buyer who actually she qualified for the loan. Everything was good. Her credit score was like 649 or something like that. And at closing, the day before closing, the lender checked her credit like they normally will.
Mhm.
They will check your credit before closing and after closing, the day or so after closing. So they check her credit, and she had applied for a Macy's card. And I'm like, okay, seriously? So that lowered her credit,
Of course.
and we almost didn't close because it lowered it by like 9 points. So she
Mhm.
was right at 640, and that was the bare minimum credit score for this loan in particular. So that was a really, really close call, because it's really hard to say how many points is going to be deducted from your credit, because it really depends on your credit history and everything that you have within your credit. So
And,
the credit
and not
report will
only
have
that,
this
and not
calculation.
only sometimes it's not even about not qualifying for the loan, but putting yourself in a bracket that would make you qualify with a very high interest rate, that right now, when your payment was very comfortable to you in the pre-qualification process, and that you were happy with what you were proposed, and now the reality of, your score, it changed, and now you're in a tough position because you can cancel the closing because you still qualify, but you qualify at a higher rate that you cannot afford, or that you
Exactly.
shouldn't be in that position, just because you did things that it could have waited after the closing date.
Yep. And to add into the credit and kind of finish it off, make sure you don't open cell phone accounts or anything that has to touch your credit. Don't co-sign during this process.
Mhm.
Don't close your old credit cards or open new credit cards, or use more than 30% of your credit balance. You need to make sure you stay still. Try to pay your credit cards off if needed, is if advised by your lender. But if not, just stay still. Don't do anything with your credit. Just breathe in and out, and that's it as far as with your credit goes. Then we also suggest not to make large deposits or withdrawals out of your account. So unless it's something that it's
Mhm.
your usual deposits or withdrawals. If it's a business deposit, go ahead. As long as it's documented, it's good. Just keep in mind that whenever a large deposit goes into your account, the bank will question it. And not only they will question it, so you will have to create a small letter explaining what happened, but you have to have proof of it. Because
Mhm.
if not, the lender is not going to count it towards your available funds to close or whatever funds is in your account. You also want to make sure you don't start any projects. And this goes back to what Leslie was saying. There are some projects at the property that you might want to start, but just wait after closing. Just make sure, just take your time, close on your property, and then start that project. Then start spending money on the materials. You can
Yeah,
what
a big no.
you
A
do.
big Yes, the big no is, do not start repairs on the property. It's not yours yet.
Exactly.
Don't Just don't do it. Just don't do it. It will create legal suffering for you. I promise you. I've been there multiple times. It never works. It never works. Just wait until you are the true owner of the property. It's not gonna take that long. A closing is usually between 30 to 45 days. You can wait that long. It
Yep.
just the construction project, it's fine. I mean, uh, it's just, it takes time. It's just of what it is in real estate. It's time consuming, yes. The other big no that comes to mind is don't sign a contract before an attorney reviews the contract, or at least that your realtor has explained to you that the attorney gave the green light and you're good to go and you're protected and you have ways out of that contract. So do not just go blindly sign a contract that you don't know exactly what it says, the obligations that you're agreeing to, and how you can actually have a way out if things don't go the way you plan. So that's
Yep,
all.
I completely agree with that as well. Also, don't go on vacations during the process if possible, and if there's already a schedule, make sure your realtor knows, your attorney knows, so we can make arrangements. Um, Most of the real estate attorneys will be able to accommodate closing without you being present, but that's something that needs to be spoken about. Make sure you don't change jobs.
Yeah.
Don't start looking for another job. Don't accept a job offer at another firm until after closing. And we're not talking right after closing. We're talking about at least a week past closing. You
Hmm.
want to make sure you are nothing really changes, nothing major changes. If you're going to write a check, make sure it doesn't bounce. Make sure you have funds in your account to cover that check, because the banks, they don't like seeing
No.
checks that have bounced.
Mm-mm.
They don't like seeing late payments either. So continue to make your monthly payments to your rent, to your credit cards, to everything that you got to pay. Continue to pay those payments. Let me see what else. Um,
Don't do the closing with a title
we don't.
company that is
Yep.
not owned and managed by an attorney, because things will come up during your closing process, and you need to have an attorney to rely on to make legal decisions and thinking about the consequences of your decision, so that you know what kind of floor you're standing on. Like, we've had multiple closings where our clients have been in positions to make decisions, and had they not been closing with our office, they would have had to hire counsel for that and spend even more money than they already are in this closing, to understand what the options are and which one are better for the particular situation. So, big no, do not close with a title company that is not owned and managed by an attorney.
I completely agree with you. And for those of you who haven't watched my videos before, that's I'm a big advocate of it, because I really feel that it's needed, and you don't know that it's needed until you do. And I have been doing this a long time ago to know you really want to work with a real estate attorneys, not just closing offices, but a real estate attorneys. Something else to add, just to conclude, don't change jobs as I mentioned, but don't change addresses. Don't move from your address to your mom's or to somebody else's property. Make sure nothing really changes. This Continue to work at your same company, continue to live at the same property. um, you want to make sure also, lastly, that your lender is going to ask you for a bunch of documents, and all of them are not going to be asked up front, but as they ask for documents, make sure you provide them promptly and that you have legible copies of the documents, so they can actually see the documents without having to ask you
Yeah.
for other copies because they couldn't see it right. So provide them promptly, don't change anything. Your credit is a big thing. So that's pretty much it. That's one of the main big ones
Right.
that we
Yeah.
should definitely don't, look into not doing. Alrighty, so thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this conversation. I know I loved talking about real estate, and I enjoy it very much. And I love talking to about real estate with Leslie and anyone, one of or Valerie. She's not present today, but they are amazing real estate firm, and they cover all the state of Florida. So feel free to reach out to them as well. Remember, we're here to assist you in your journey to success in the real estate world. So if you have any questions or need any more information on this topic, or any other related on any other topics related to real estate market, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be more than glad to answer those questions for you. Our numbers are displayed on the screen. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, so you won't miss any of our episodes that we come every single week. Please share this information with your friends and colleagues. They might benefit from it as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.